Hello world, I got a special episode for you today. Today we're going to look into DeepSeek V4 that was released today, April 24th. I'm going to run two scenarios, real life scenarios, testing its agentic capabilities of both V4 Flash and V4 Pro. This is going to be real test. Let's see how it performs. So without any delay, let's jump in. So DeepSeek finally released version 4 after a long wait for many months. They released two main versions, the preview. So we have the DeepSeek is the officially live and open source. They also released the V4 Pro, and they have the Flash version, which is a little bit faster. So as you can see, the two main versions, the Pro, which is about 1.6 trillion parameters, which is quite large. I think it's substantially larger than the previous V32. And then this is the Flash model. And you can see there are active parameters and all the good stuff. They come with 1 million context window, which is quite large and becoming the standard. So awesome for them. And who doesn't like some benchmarks? And if you like benchmark, I'm not a big fan of benchmark. I think they're nice, but they're very easy to manipulate and they don't tell the truth. I like to determine models' performance based on my own experience. But according to this benchmark for the V4 Pro on max thinking, they compare themselves to Opus and GPT-5.4. Kind of would be nice to see how they compare versus 5.5, which was released a day before. So quite a busy week this week. You can see Gemini is leading the simple QA verified. And you know what? Yeah, it's benchmark. Very nice, very cute. They're doing well. They're fighting the big models, but this is fully open source, including the weights. So that's really special and unique. And what else they included? It's the Flash model, which is quite fast and quite impressive. I had a long day with it. It's my main agentic backend or brain for my autonomous agent that I built called Alef agent, previously known as CC Claude. So again, the same thing. If you look at this one, you'll see that it's doing quite well. Obviously, they compare themselves against, again, the main heavy hitters. Even despite being Flash, the difference between it and the Pro version is not that large. It's not a big difference. I have not tested the Pro yet. I felt the Flash was good enough. I don't know, maybe I don't have a lot of expectations, but it's doing really well, and I'll show you a little bit how it acts as agentic. There are tons of video on YouTube that shows and test both models and coding. If you like that, go watch them. They're doing, I've seen mixed reviews on the coding capabilities, but I'm looking into AI models as agentic brain for my agent. And that's where I want to see how to behave as an agentic solution. That's the Flash. Over there, you can see that we have the pricing. And the pricing, again, this is what really makes them special. Technically, all the recent open source that came from China, you can see the price for cash or not. It's between let's say without cash, it's $1.75, 1 million input tokens, and about $3.50 for output. And the price for the Flash is in the cents. Honestly, if you're hitting cash, it's almost really not noticeable. And about 30 cents for 1 million output tokens for this model. And how they compare versus others. So let's kind of look at other pricing. Let's start with the heavy hitters. So Opus, it's really expensive, and $25 for 1 million output. Opus 4.6 is the same price more or less. And if you look at Sonnet, it is within the $3, between $3 and $15 for the output. And if you try to look at the Haiku, which is the comparable model, I would say for the Flash model, it is between $1 up to $5 for output token. And if you look at the Gemini, same thing. They're quite expensive. So between $2 to $2 for input. This is for Gemini Pro 3.1, the preview model that's been in preview for God knows for how long. For the output prices, it's between 20 and 18, and the price range differs if you over 200 K in the tokens. That's how they operate, but again, not cheap. And if we look over here, this is Kimi K2 that came out this week as well, I think. Yes, this week or a little bit earlier. So Kimi K is around 16 cents for cache hit and almost $1 for input and $4 for output. So I don't know about you, but it's almost, if you look at the benchmark and look at the costs, it's becoming really hard to stick to the Western models. Yes, we all have thoughts about using Chinese models and what they do with the data and the censorship and everything, but it's becoming really hard to stick with the Google and the Anthropic. So for example, look at OpenAI. I want to show you how they price their models. So 5.5 came out yesterday. So the input is about $5 for the input and $30 for the output for 1 million tokens, and which is double the 5.4. It's just insane. It's just insane. And if you look at the mini, which is the equivalent of the Flash, it's about 75 for 1 million and $4.50 for the output tokens. Again, price also very attractive. And does it work well? Let's see. So first of all, how do you use it? You have multiple options to use it. And by the way, this is the open weights. They published them on Hugging Face. So if you want to check them out, again, open source, really powerful and an advantage over the others. Let's go DeepSeek. So DeepSeek.com, you have two options. You have either the ability to chat, and let's go quickly there and see what you get. This is how it's represented. You have the instant and the expert. This is going to be the pro, and this is going to be the Flash. This is how you control thinking and Flash. Very simple. And this is the chat if you want to use it. Just log in and use it. The other option, let me close this, is using the API. And this is something I've been using. But if you want to go use the API, so as I mentioned, I spent a full day with it. I used it a lot. And I mean a lot for my agentic workflow, for my newsroom creation of multiple posts and images and verification. And it's less than $1. And I was expecting a little bit more, and it's not bad at all. So if you want to generate your keys, once you log in, after you have to put money, and this is where you can see where you create new keys, you give it a name, and let's say test, and you create the API key. This is the key that you're going to copy and save because you're not going to see it again. And you can use it in various platforms. In my setup with my agent, I'm using DeepSeek with OpenCode. And if you're not familiar, OpenCode is an awesome tool. It's an open source IDE. Think of it as the Claude code for free, but it's much more powerful in my opinion. It has multiple providers you can connect, and one of them is obviously DeepSeek, which I'm using for my agent. And the second is the NVIDIA, which is another platform connection. And it even comes with its own free models. Not only that, they also have two plans that you can use. The Zen one, which gives you access to multiple optimized models for development and coding. And they also have the Go, the cheaper one, which gives you access to models. So we start $5 for the first month, and after that it's $10 afterwards. And not bad. If you want to use it, this is an alternative. It's $10 a month. You're getting access to Kimi K2, which is pretty good based on what I've seen. And they just added DeepSeek V4 Pro access. So, and here's the Flash. You're getting a really good quota with it. So if you want to try it out in a coding assistant, OpenCode is really, really awesome. And how do you install it? Very easy. I would recommend doing this once you have it running. And by the way, you have to be on at least this version because they had some issues. So make sure you update your OpenCode. I have OpenCode, and the easiest way to make sure it works is just do OpenCode upgrade. And let's see which version I install it. I did Brew, so I hope Brew will update. Yeah, you see, that's the problem with Brew. I tried it on my different computer. It didn't work. So let me just uninstall it, and let me install it with the proper version, which is the script. So if I'll go back, I'm just going to use this version to install it, and you'll see I'll get the latest release of OpenCode. And all my settings will be preserved, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, awesome. So let's OpenCode. With OpenCode, you have the Big Pickle, which is one of their free native models. It's free. It's decent. it's not going to give you the same performance as Sonnet, but it's really good. And I use it quite a lot for my workflow because I'm always trying to find ways to save money with my agentic activities. When you have an autonomous agent, you quickly realize it's very expensive. So over here, what you need to do, you have two options to connect to DeepSeek. So one of them is obviously select to connect to provider, and you search for DeepSeek. And in DeepSeek, you just paste the API key. Yeah, it's still showing up. And here you can see the models, and I'm pretty sure if I'll try to talk to them, and here you can select the thinking variant. So we'll just do default, and you'll say, hey, yeah, my API key is invalid, so it's not going to work. But the other thing I wanted to show you, this is my autonomous agent. So you can see I've been using it today quite a lot. This is my chat with it on multiple stories that have been working. So if you go into my main channel, everything that you see here from today was created by DeepSeek, and I even put a note on it. So, the last two posts were created by DeepSeek V4 Flash on OpenCode, and it started from here. So from 11 a.m., I put multiple, and that was the announcement I posted today of this new model announcement, and that was done obviously with a different model, not DeepSeek, but after that, I started using it as soon as I saw the news. And it did not bad. It wasn't perfect. I had to nudge it to read some of the skills because the newsroom process is quite complicated. It's a very, very complex process. It's using skills chaining. There are two skills involved in this. There are tools. There are, for example, we use Perplexity for fact checking. We use Google search to retrieve sources. We use even Firecrawl to scrape a news article and get the data if it's, for example, blocked by curl command to retrieve the information. It's not easy. Many models just cannot complete it. So that's kind of my benchmark. Is this model good? Because this is a really heavy process. And I'll show you that. And we're going to try it together. So let's see how we can do it. First of all, how do I add it into my system? So this is actually my newsroom. This is my news discussions setup. So in my setup, in my engine, everything I'm trying to control from within Telegram. So I'll go into models, and you can see this is my OpenCode environment, and I'm right now using DeepSeek, and I can add more models because there are tons of models available in OpenCode, and my OpenCode is configured with my key. So let's try to do a model, and I want to see actually to use this to search for DeepSeek. So let's do DeepSeek. Let's see what I get. So now it's going to search everything that is available right now in OpenCode. So you can see it found, these are all coming from the OpenCode API. And this is coming from the NVIDIA provider. I don't see the V4 on NVIDIA. So they did not expose it yet on there. Let me try again with explicit DeepSeek V4. No, I'm getting only the DeepSeek and the Open Router options from that. It's not available on NVIDIA yet. Let's give it a run. And I'm going to give it something complicated. I have not tested it yet, so it might fail and it might not. So what I wanted to give it is something. Just before I recorded this video, I noticed that Google announced something new. And you can see here, it's actually on the trending on X. And this is a new post from Google, and that's for NotebookLM. And what they added was the ability to auto-label and categorize sources, which is a pretty cool feature in my opinion. And I want to write about this. So what I need to do usually, if I see a story, I just copy the source of that. But what I wanted to do is two things. I wanted to read this, create a very simple high-level overview of what's new, but I wanted to download this video from X and use it as a video for my Telegram news channel. Let's give it a try. Let's see how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work, but should be fun. So I'm on, again, DeepSeek V4. So I'm going to ask it, I'm going to paste this draft this story, and I want you to use YT-DLP to download the video from X and use it as the video instead of the regular image for this draft. Once draft, send it to the test channel for review. Okay? So let's see how long it's going to take. So right now it's 6:23, and you can see it's starting to think about this. It's going to receive my request, and soon you're going to start seeing its thinking tokens, because in my environment, I enabled all the verbose because my Alef agent is still in development. So I need to know how it handles tools, if there are errors. I even recently added evaluation while it's doing it. Let me show you. So I have this evolve mechanism, and I'm doing self-evaluation of the agent every turn, every session. It looks at the activity. And for example, this is from earlier today. So it's going to look, and I got score on this particular engagement that was with Claude. That's something that I'm continuously working to add and improve the agent, because I want it to continuously improve itself, learn from mistakes. And that's what I'm slowly building. It's still in early stage. It's not available. And I will make more videos on this agent because I put some cool stuff in there. One of the funny parts, actually, again, I'm just stretching while it's doing its thing. Oh, that was fast. It did it. Let's see. You can see it popped in over here. Yeah, not bad, right? So what it did, and it sounds simple, but first of all, look how fast that was. I don't think I ever had a model that doing this. Even I used Haiku and Gemini 3 Flash, the same process. They are not as fast. This is quite, I'm shocked. I'm impressed. So 1 minute to do this. It downloaded the movie, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it can download with sound. Everything is fine. I'm gonna need to read this to make sure it's good, but I can tell you it followed 2 skills. One of the skills is called the Newsroom skill, which gives it end-to-end instructions with gates and checkpoints, what it needs to do. It needs to search my news channel. There's no duplicates, and it needs to see if there are any previous posts if you want to create context. And then after that, it uses tools like Perplexity or Google or Firecrawl to retrieve the information. And actually for X, it uses a special X CLI, and it retrieves the post, reads it, and then it drafts it, and it puts the link here. And let me just confirm it's the right one as the source. Yeah. So my impression so far from DeepSeek, and I'm only played with the Flash. I haven't even tried, you know what? Like maybe we'll just try to do something with the Pro. I don't think it's fair. So let me go into my main agent over here. And let me switch to the open code. And over here, I'll select a different model. I'll select the Pro. And let's give it a unique task. So let's just confirm status. I'm using OpenCode DeepSeek V4 Pro. What I'm gonna give it, it's gonna be a unique task that I usually do with my agents. I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm gonna ask it, put it in a NotebookLM, because I have NotebookLM MCP. If you're familiar, it is a MCP and CLI I created for Agentic AI solutions, and it's heavily used by my agent. And what I'm going to ask it is to take this report, upload it to a NotebookLM, a brand new NotebookLM, and I'm going to ask it to ingest it as a source, and then create an audio overview and a cinematic video. I don't know if I have any left in my quota, but I'm going to see how it works. I want you to send this PDF and create a new NotebookLM, call it DeepSeek Technical Paper V4. And after you added it as a source, I want you to create an audio overview and a cinematic video overview based on the skill we have in our system. So let's see if it's going to do it. So again, I'm using the DeepSeek V4. So what I ask it is not simple. I ask it to grab a PDF, download it, and then use that to create, and you can see it identified the skill. There we go. So that's the skill I was referring to, because I created a specific skill with a specific prompts that how I like my audio overviews and my cinematic video overviews to be created. I have I want to start simple and then gradually go into more technical details. So it's reading the skill and it's checking the authentication. That's awesome. So it's going to use the NotebookLM CLI. Okay, so session expired. You need to use the NLM logging if you're smart enough. And yeah, I asked a cinematic video. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if it's doing it. So it seems like it's doing some stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my NotebookLM and let's see if it created anything. There we go. So it created it. Let's see what it did. It added, okay, so yes, it added all the information. And this is the PDF. And you can see on the right side is generating the videos and the audio overview I requested. And usually what I also ask is to upload it back, to download these resources once they're done and upload them back into Telegram so I can listen directly from Telegram and I don't have to switch anywhere else. I just gave you an overview of DeepSeek and I give you real life examples how I use both models as an agentic model. So this, to me, this is what matters. I don't care, not yet anyway, how they perform in coding. But from my experience so far, I'm pretty sure that the Flash model would be able to handle this NotebookLM scenario, but it's really good. I'm liking it, and I'm looking forward for NVIDIA to add this into one of their free models to use, and that will help me to really save cost, which is something that I'm continuously trying to do when I am using my autonomous agent. So that was a long one, but I really hope that you liked it. If you enjoyed this video, you find something new or you learned something, feel free to click like, and if you're not subscribed, you're more than welcome to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.
AI spotlight illuminating the future of AI.